right. Good morning, neighbors. Good morning, neighbors. One more time, just for good luck. Good morning, neighbors, and welcome to the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital Full Casting this morning. We just heard from Paul Richards. He'll be in. Well, he's in. We just heard him with our news brief. We'll hear AV coming up at 7 o'clock for major news. Wendell Stephen, he's somewhere around, I think. Ruben is in the mix. My name is Steve Khan. We'll keep you company until 9 o'clock this morning, all right? Quickly, let's take a look at the WTs, see what's happening, weather and traffic. Traffic-wise, I got nothing to tell you about. Nothing. East, west, north, or south, I have nothing to tell you about. At all. All right? But let's see what the weather is going to be like for us in Trinidad and Tobago. It is currently 25 degrees at Piarco International Airport. It is 27 in our beautiful sister isle of Tobago. What's the weather? Yeah, yesterday afternoon, they're saying it's going to be generally sunny, hazy, and at times breezy. Conditions will likely be interrupted by a few partly cloudy intervals with isolated showers, 30 to 40%, which is low to medium, chance of the isolated heavy shower or thunderstorm. Fair but hazy evening expected, gusty winds, street and flash flooding. Can occur in the event of heavy downpours. Sahara dust is expected over the next few days. Just to let you know that a big plume of Sahara dust is coming. All right. Currently, as I said, 25 and 27 at Crown Point. In Toronto, you're sitting at 16. Miami, scorcher for you today. 29 already. Breaking records, I see. Orlando, 25. New York, 22. Atlanta, 23. London, whoa, balmy, 21 degrees and cloudy. Tampa, you're at 27. Washington, D.C., you're at 22 degrees. All right. Now, let's see who sent us hellos. First thing this morning, as usual, via our mobile app and website. Garcilia, first off the gate, good morning to you. Where is Ken E? Wendy Ann, good morning. West Indies Wonder Series, 3-2. Saw that yesterday. DJ Ray out in Delaware. Maria Marva, Miss Ingrid, good morning. Dennis out in Dago, good morning to you as well. Oliver Man Warren, CJ in New York. Hope you guys have a great day. On YouTube, let's say good morning, good out to Marcia Rock, Eastern Alexander, Ms. Maloney, and Gloria Ray. All right. Good morning to you, Paul Richards. What's shaking?
Morning, Steve. Morning, everyone. Good Monday morning to you. It's Monday the 14th of August, so the day is finally here. Today, Trinidad and Tobago goes to the polls in local government election 2023. There are 372 candidates, 1,078,651 persons can go and vote. They are eligible to vote. There are 14 electoral areas and 41 electoral districts. So quite a number of parties are contesting. The EBC says all is in place. Everything is in place for today's polls. I saw the one down the street from my house active as early as 5 this morning.
Yeah, they're supposed to go in for 4 o'clock this morning.
And people are already streaming past.
Yeah. A lot of people are going to vote first thing. The polls are now open. It opened at 6. Will run till 6 p.m. I do believe all bars are closed till then. Yeah.
We want to advise all the listeners this morning who will be calling that according to law, you cannot say anything that may be deemed campaigning. You cannot say, go and vote for this. You cannot brandish vocally any party symbol. It's against the law. And if you do that, we will take you off the air.
Well, you know me, I've got quick fingers.
Okay, so please be advised. The most you can do is tell people to go out and vote. You cannot advocate for any party with any party symbol or any such thing this morning. You can say you went and vote. You can urge people to go out and vote. You cannot advocate for any particular political party, either by symbol or by name or by acronym. Please be advised accordingly. Okay?
There you go, folks. You got us Paul read the riot act to you all. Good morning, just a nice guy. I'll come into that just now. Just a nice guy. I did not know I messaged myself. Good morning to you. Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Scorcher for you guys today. Carol Guevara, good morning. Hope you guys have a great day, great weekend. Was campaign supposed to stop on Saturday?
Sunday midnight.
Oh,
midnight last night.
Oh, okay. I thought Sunday was a non-campaigning day. I don't know where I got that from. Because there was a lot of noise by me yesterday.
Midnight Sunday.
Yeah. Midnight Sunday. Yeah. Motorcades and noise yesterday. So, I don't know. Go out and dip your finger in that red ink. Is it still red? I hope they get a new system come 2025. Oh, all the ambulance passing by you. No, it's not a police vehicle. Stephanie, I like your name. Stephanie Fraser Santana. Good morning to you. Locked on from Queens, New York. Welcome, Stephanie. And thank you so much for joining us. All right. Yeah.
Well, let's start with some good news now.
What, the West Indies won?
Friday was World Steel Band Day, and we could share this with you. This happened in Times Square, New York.
After one and all, the land of red. 34. The wheel and come again. Dean Golston was in that band. I like that. What want me to sing? Stephanie, you went out to Times Square with your hand in the air like you just don't care.
Well, then I'm enjoying the music.
What up in New York, people? DJ.
It's not like a modern day DJ.
There you go. Out in Times Square, New York on Friday for International Steel Pan Day. Of course, our events across Trinidad and Tobago is quite successful for what I understand. A lot of people came out, listened to the steel drum. Mo Gaines out in Aruka. Good morning to you, my friend. Hope all is well. Yeah. And yes, another good news. West Indies won their T20 series against India. They lost on Saturday, so it was tied 2-2, and of course they came back and won yesterday with little sprinkles of rain. I watched the end of it. I'll be honest. I hit rewind and I watched it from there. Watched it like 6 o'clock yesterday evening, just a little bit while I was puttering around the house. So they won.
So what's happened? I see. This doesn't pertain to local government election, but Fadi Augustine and his team launched their party yesterday in Tobago, or over the weekend at least. I think it was yesterday. So,
what's it called?
Yeah. The same party they had before, Steve.
Oh, okay.
They officially launched the party yesterday.
Ah, okay. Timing is everything.
Well, interesting juxtaposition of a launch. Tobago is not part of the local government election because Tobago has the House of Assembly.
House of Assembly, correct.
So
just a reminder of our morning poll that we asked you on Friday. So come on out, folks. Come and vote on our website and app. Should the steel pan be brought in all the nation's schools? That was our poll on Friday. Vote.
That's a safe enough question for today.
Yeah. Any other question?
I think we could probably ask this morning. Do you think the number of voters going up will increase compared to past local government elections?
You think it will have a large voter turnout today?
Well, larger.
Larger. Normally it's about what, 20-30% that goes out and vote?
I think it's, to my recollection, it's usually under 35%.
Yeah.
I can't remember it going above 35% in recent years, but this has been a different kind of campaign. Even as admitted by the Prime Minister when he spoke to us on Friday.
It is a different kind of campaign.
And both parties held large campaigns over the weekend on Saturday.
Yeah. Marcia, we didn't give the poll out yet. We're just thinking about it. Thank you, Marcia. Richard M. Jeremiah, good morning to you. On YouTube, thank you so much for joining us.
What else is happening in the country? Well, everything is about
today.
Election today.
Yeah.
I think bars may be closed on election day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, bars are closed till 6 p.m. Once the stations are open, bars will be closed. NLCB outlets will be open. All right. And Lotto has rolled over to 19 million buckaroos. 19. I just want a piece.
Wow. Are you serious?
19 million. GNC Auto Security, good morning. Hope you have a good one. But what I realized this morning when I got up, I saw a bunch of WhatsApp. There are more and more accidents happening on our nation's roads. More and more accidents. East, west, north, and south had accidents over the weekend. And bad ones too. Hope everybody is okay.
Statistically or anecdotally?
Well, I don't know about statistically. No, I just noticed that there are more and more accidents happening within the let's use the month of August, for example. There are. Look, last week before, there was one in the coming from south, and then on that same day, there's one heading southbound. People living past the Carney Bridge really had a tough time that day. Accidents going the way.
I asked if it's statistically or anecdotally because not all accidents make the media. So while you will be seeing more, that doesn't necessarily mean that there are more happening. So it'll be interesting to hear from Brent Batson and the TTPS about whether or not comparatively there are more accidents happening this year than last year. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I can't see.
I just found that this weekend in particular that there were accidents. There was one by Chief Brand. There was one in Debe. Wendell went and voted already. Well, that's an accident.
If persons can, the Elections and Boundaries Commission has advised that persons can go and vote, even if they have not received their polling cards. Once your name is on the list of electors, you can go and vote. And they're advising that persons go to their website at www.ebctt. That's www.ebctt.com. Or you can call the EBC's hotlines. They've listed two. The numbers are 785-8206. That's 785-8206 or 785-8211. 785-8211. to find out where your specific polling station is, or to make inquiries as if your names is on the list of electors, which quite frankly should have done before, but it's not too late now. It won't be too late until 6 o'clock this evening. But the polls are open between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Yeah. Should get the results, around 10, I guess?
Well,
assuming.
Depends on depending on the number of people who go out to vote.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a national election type, a general election type turnout, which is unlikely or close to that or moving closer to that, it'll take longer, obviously, to count the votes.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, because the percentage of persons voting in local government election never generally crossed 30-35%, it was much easier to count the number of votes and verify before sending in official results. So, and one of the concerns that I'm sure they have is people with the advent of social and digital media, people post all kinds of erroneous stuff online, and people run with that. Please, 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 do not give out any results that have not come from the Elections and Boundaries Commission.
Only
people deliberately engage in mischief to it.
Of course, they will have that.
Yeah.
Of course, they'll have some mischief happening. Good morning to Ingrid Adams. Edwin Marshall says, safe voting day to all. Roma Roach Thomas, good morning to you as well. And just a nice guy, he said, why can't we have postal voting? You asking me something?
Good question.
Yeah, I can answer that. Just a nice guy. I mean, we're supposed to be chatting with someone from the EBC this morning. So maybe that's one of the questions. I'll remember that and ask on your behalf. It should be after 7 o'clock this morning. I know Wendell had set that up. As he voted already, he just sent a picture of the ink. Yeah.
We see how it goes today.
Yeah, we'll see how it
Well,
goes.
quite a busy day for the TTPS and other agencies of national security and law enforcement.
Yeah, because there will be TTPS at each station.
Well, moving around to make sure that law and order is maintained. It's a very important day in any country. An election is a very, very, very serious undertaking.
That's
It's not the kind of day that law enforcement takes lightly at all.
Yeah.
You know? We could kind of jump into the newspapers because it's all about elections today. Well, over the weekend, there were also 4 reported killings and 3 sets of shootings reported. 2 died in road accidents, leading to your point earlier on. Maruga family beaten. This is in The Guardian, by the way. This is on the front page online in The Guardian. Chief Election Officer dismisses claims of irregularities in special voting process. There had been concerns raised by both the UNC and the NTA. Fern Nancis Scope, who was the Chief Election Officer. When The Guardian is reporting 373 candidates. She says that, let me just get into the article to read a bit of it. There were issues raised in a UNC press briefing yesterday, which was hosted by Gianti Lashvidiyal and Khadija Amin, and the Elections and Boundaries Commission. And I'm reading the the article from The Guardian here, has dismissed alleged irregularities in the special voting process raised by the UNC. In a press release issued yesterday evening, the EBC stated its Chief Election Officer, Fern Narcis Scope, responded to a request for an investigation made by the Leader of the Opposition, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Right? Narcis Scope sought to address specific concerns initially raised orally by Lakshmi Dayal and reiterated by Persad-Bissessar at the EBC's request. The EBC's release stated that, explained to Persad-Bissessar that the election rules under the Representation of the People Act do not provide for the sealing of ballot boxes at special polling stations. She advised, open quotations, Narcis Scope advised it had become the practice for special presiding officers to use ballot boxes to transport the sealed envelopes, but there's no requirement in law to either use ballot boxes or to seal them, end quotation. The broken seals were in fact part of a previous process utilized at the special polling station, which was in no way part of the process witnessed at Queen's Hall. She said that the investigation also revealed that all the special envelopes were sealed by the special presiding officer for matters of safety and security in the transportation of all boxes were locked. The special envelopes were found to be sealed and intact. She said the fact that 2 ballot boxes were not sealed does not impact the outcome of the election in any given electoral district, as suggested by the opposition leader. Right? Narcis Scope's investigations revealed that 11 covering envelopes with the declaration of identity of special electors are required by Election Rule 71 were placed in the ballot box at the location, which was then locked and sealed. A proper record was kept of the districts that the ballots were cast via a statement of the contents of the special ballot box in accordance with Election Rule 84-2 and was duly signed by the special presiding officer. The statement was shown to witness present at the sorting exercise. So, well, according to the Guardian report, that is. So, we move now to the Express for today. Right? And there's a K-Marie Rodriguez article, The Predators of Pretty Pipers, that disturbing, or those disturbing pages on Instagram that were discovered last week and week before, putting people's children out on social media, which is very, very disturbing. In all states of undress and all sorts of allegations against them, very disgusting indeed. On the Express also, 61 bullets fired. Over 61 spent shells were found on the scene of a double homicide in Ahokata on Saturday. Speaking to what the Prime Minister described to us as so much ammunition floating around the country. Think about it when you think about it. You can at least 61 normal. You have ammunition to spare.
Yeah. Look at the young lady that got shot in Barataria. They found like 20-something shells.
Another sad situation where it's alleged that gunmen came for her son and killed her instead.
Yeah.
Oh, and that happened over the weekend also.
There was another home invasion too over the weekend, 2:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
All eyes on Grande and San Fernando, which are being described as the 2 main battlegrounds in today's local government elections. All right. In the last local government election, the PNM won 72 seats, while the UNC won 67 seats. Each party won 7 municipalities. You know, it's also the first election, according to the article by Ria Tate, that there are 2 more boroughs of Diego Martin and Siparia. Or some say Siparia. Right? So, we see how it goes today. There are also so many other political entities contesting this year compared to previous years. including the NTA, PDP, PEP. Who else? The Farmers Party. I always forget the name. I apologize.
Yeah, I know. I
They
forget.
reinvigorated. I think it's something like the reinvigorated Farmers Party or something like that. Who else? Several independent candidates. So the PNM is the only party contesting all of the 141 electoral districts. The UNC is contesting 110. The NTA vying for 31. The Reunited Farmers Party, that's the name of the party. PEP, Philip Alexander. Sorry?
The Reunited
Farmers Party, yeah.
Right.
Which has joined forces with Philip Alexander's Progressive Empowerment Party, PEP.
Yeah.
Watson Duke's PDP, Movement for Social Justice, is contesting 3 districts. And as we interviewed Fuad Abubakar, last week before anyway.
Week before.
He would have said that he's contesting on a PDP ticket. Right? So I think we could congratulate our youth athletes. They won 15 medals in all in the completed Commonwealth Youth Games held in Trinidad and Tobago. So they did. It's the best haul ever. So they did very, very well. Right. Minister of Finance Colm Imber, who should be our guest on Wednesday. He deferred from last Wednesday to this Wednesday. Also made some announcements over the weekend. He said just above 33,000 persons will receive income tax returns. They're ready to be distributed. And also, they're seriously considering the issue of the minimum wage in Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, both questions we'll ask him about once he does attend on Wednesday our scheduled interview. So we will see how that goes.
Yeah. All right. Also coming up this weekend, Paul, on Saturday morning, bright and early, would be the Great Race.
What do you have that still?
Yeah, they have that still. So that'll be on this weekend, this Saturday.
It used to be so energized before.
Oh yeah, everybody used to head across to this style, including myself and the boys.
I was in a helicopter one year,
Oh, that would have been fantastic. I'd have loved to be in that.
It wasn't fantastic at all.
What? Why?
It wasn't fantastic. It's not a helicopter that's coasting. A helicopter that's diving down all the time and swooping in on vessels at high speed and swooping back up with no doors on the side. And it wasn't pleasant at all.
Yeah,
you might think it's very pleasant, but no.
No, I would love to be in that.
Yeah, no, wasn't pleasant at all.
Yeah, well, I remember going across a long time ago when it was in its heyday. Couldn't get flights, nothing had changed yet. Couldn't get flights, couldn't get hotel room.
Yeah, it was a big thing
in advance. And I was the organizer, so I had to book all the hotels, all the flights.
Gary, right? Look at the picture of Gary here. He's very ready going down. The work can really help him.
Maybe he didn't have any doubles.
No, he lost some weight. No two ways about it. He's right.
Yeah,
he walked a lot. Like all the candidates. I mean, all the parties and candidates were walking a lot over the last 3 weeks. Right. Let's move to the news there online for today also. Security guard has been arrested for firearm offenses. Shootout in Marabella. Integrity Commission acts on those who did not declare. Rowley meets Bahamas Prime Minister. EBC, special voting not compromised. A woman dies in car accident. West Indies crush India to win T20 series, where we're quite good at T20. Is that the test series that are of concern? Imber,
all
over
are concerned.
33,000 to get tax refunds this week. Happy campers, I'm sure. Maruga man freed of 2005 robbery charge. I wonder if he was in jail all that time. Imagine you in jail since 2005, if that's the case, and you now get exonerated. I mean, gunman looking for son shoots and kills mother in Barataria. That was a sad story over the weekend.
That's a sad one.
Really unfortunate. 1,078,651 eligible to vote, as 141 local government districts are up for grabs. 2 dead, 2 wounded in separate incidents in Diego Martin and Arima.
Mm-hmm.
And the West Indies captain elated. He said this is a victory for the people. Right, as I said earlier on, the Tobago People's Party launched officially. I'm reading a Newsday article here. Led by interim political leader Fali Augustin, said they're at war with certain arms of the state as it seeks to defend Tobago's interest. The TPP's color is also blue. It was officially launched on Sunday at the Stage in the Sea in Scarborough. It also unveiled its anthem. Secretary of Health Dr. Faith B. Israel said the THA executive, which last December distanced itself from their former political home, the PDP has performed creditably amid friction with central government. So the party has officially been launched. So, well, I guess maybe they're not contesting Trinidad elections. Or maybe they don't have plans to contest Trinidad elections. Because how you got to Blue Party? Asking for a friend. I mean, you know.
Oh, yes.
But Mr. Augustin did say that their focus is the 2 Tobago seats. But in a general election, even if you're focusing on the 2 Tobago seats, there's no NTA may decide to contest the 2 Tobago seats also.
Yeah.
So how you will know fish from fowl? How you will know who is who, which is a very strange. Well, maybe they only registered for Tobago. I don't know how it's going.
I don't know.
Normally, I mean, if it's a party registered with the Elections and Boundaries Commission, which I'm sure it has if it's officially launched, they would say, well, that color gone. Maybe it's a different shade of blue. I don't know. I will tell you.
Baby blue, turquoise, something. You know, before I forget, I want to give recognition and kudos to the TTPS. So good morning to all those with the TTPS.
Yes, I must to do that. I'm glad you brought it up. I hope it's the same thing as
a lady was waiting for transport in St. Helena.
I have a different thing.
You have a different one at 6 o'clock hour, somewhere around there. And 2 guys came up to her and robbed her of everything, jumped in a waiting car, sped off. The TDPS was notified and they apprehended the 3 men.
Very good.
And the lady got back all her valuables, everything that they took.
Very good, very good. Excellent.
So kudos to the TTPS and their fast response and that. Fast response. So kudos TTPS.
Well,
good morning to you all.
I want to congratulate the TTPS. Where you spell applause? I'm looking for applause.
APP. Just put APP. You should get it.
Anyway, SFX. That will come up. No. For dismantling a meth lab over the weekend, somewhere in San Fernando, at some towers in San Fernando, apparently there was an active meth lab.
Oh, yes.
and was making prohibited chemicals. And the TTPS, after receiving intelligence and operating a sting operation, I do presume, were able to. I didn't see any arrest and charges, but then they were able to stop the meth lab. Maybe there were charges and arrests.
They got a search warrant and went in.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't know. I didn't see any arrests and charges, but I know there's matter.
They got one individual. That's
so
the last I read.
So good work, TTPS.
Yes.
Mrs. Pierre Christopher, you see, we congratulate you. So you can't see the media and congratulate you. Which is what I presume you feel the media is here for, to congratulate you.
Mm-hmm. True.
So good work, TTPS. Very, very good work, because those chemicals are highly dangerous, and the fact that you were able to execute that successfully is extremely commendable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we wouldn't mind a press conference from your leader. Just saying.
Asking for a friend.
Press conferences, press releases will only go so far, madam.
Yeah.
All right, so congratulations to the TTPS on those 2 counts.
Yes.
Today, we also congratulate, I know there are more officers than usual out on patrol and on duty, because it's an election day in Trinidad and Tobago. I know officers will be out in their full force. I saw quite a number of operations over the weekend, actually. And over the weekend, again, Carib was doing something, and of course, they interrupted the flow of traffic between Mount Hope and Shafley to install some equipment.
Boy, that was some traffic on that Eastern Main Road.
Yeah, it's becoming quite regular now. But when they're installing equipment, they use this huge crane on the bus route.
Yeah.
So
but I just say that. So I'm on the Eastern Main Road. I'm heading east. I get to Uriah Butler traffic lights. This 12-seater maxi did not want to go into the turning lane, so he stayed on the left. He got the red light with passengers in the vehicle and broke the red light to turn right.
And you didn't take a picture?
I have it on my dash cam. My dash cam camera got it.
Yeah, you must release something.
Yeah, boy. I should. But and I'm saying to myself, I'm not slamming the maxi taxi drivers, but pulling to the left, pretending you're dropping off a passenger or picking up a passenger at a traffic light, and then trying to go in front of everybody, and then a passenger wants to come out and you have to pull aside now. Stopping at right on the intersection.
To be fair, maxis, private cars, truck drivers, van drivers, all guilty of the same crap very often.
They do,
So you tell maxi drivers alone.
No, but it's
maxi
just
drivers are more visible because of the size of the vehicle, but private cars do have nonsense all the time. So to be fair, I know it's only maxi drivers.
That is why, driving in Trinidad and Tobago is tedious. I know it can frustrate people because the amount of traffic, but it is tedious to drive. I'm heading to Currap yesterday. I passed Valsayn. I'm on the left lane, and a Range Rover is on the right, and decides, oh, you know what? I want to get into Currap. Probably didn't even look at his mirrors. I just saw him coming across on me. I had to go down my brakes and blow my horn. It's like, and right before they turn off to by KFC. You didn't know you wanted to go there in the first place? Because you did it in such a casual manner. It is tedious.
Let's just say I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those are stories trending today in your Express Guardian and Newsday. It is election day, local government election day 2023.
Yeah.
If you're going out to vote, please be careful. Please be careful on the roads.
Hey, look
and let's welcome Mr. Richard Raghubasing.
Morning, Richard.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys.
What's happening?
Well, it's a Monday morning, and of course, the play was yesterday at Sapa. We just had one show in Sapa because this weekend, because of course, getting spaced in theaters can be sometimes difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a wonderful show last night, and we had a lot, a really good turnout and people coming out to see the play. So we
Mm-hmm.
have one final show probably this weekend. I think it's this weekend. Yeah, this weekend, Saturday night at CLR James Theatre in Cipriani College.
Oh, you come in
So-
Cipriani weekend?
Yeah. So we come in. So tickets will probably be delivered, if not today, to early tomorrow. We're just having one night again, and that'll be the final show of what you're looking at me so for. Before we resume with whatever we are doing later on at the end of September is when we will resume, and that takes us to early November and the end of theater, at least from our perspective, for 2023.
Wow.
So it's been a pretty busy year. So
Yeah. You know what what I forgot to bring up too, Paul? I just sent it to you. That the cameraman that was hit by a vehicle on a party bus route and died.
I didn't hear
I
about
saw
that.
that. Yeah, I saw that.
I sent it.
That
I
was
just
very
sent it
sad.
to you.
That was very sad.
Yeah. You know,
Very
filming a marathon that was taking place early yesterday morning.
That's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, I just sent it to you there.
Condolences to his family. All right, it's 12 before 7 o'clock.
Yeah, let me
So
just
our
say good
question
morning,
this morning.
Yeah, let me say a few good mornings before we get into our poll.
You did newspapers already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helen Prescott, good morning.
You
I do have
Cheryl-
newspapers with me.
Cheryl Henry,
You
good
can roll
morning.
it up to the news of them.
Karen Bernard, good morning. Karen Yipnow, morning to you, Karen, an amazing photographer. So I haven't heard from you in a long time, Karen. So good morning to you. Leonard Naipaul, Brenda Isaac, good morning to you as well. Hope you guys have a great day. All right. I'm just checking on my message. What is going on here? I hit my message
So-
board. I got a white screen. All right, let's get into the poll.
So our poll for today, of course, is local government day, election day 2023. So our question is, do you think there'll be a greater number of persons voting in today's local government election than in the past? Yes or no? Again, it's against the law to say who you're voting for, to encourage people to vote for any particular party, brandish any party symbol,
Yeah.
etc., etc. Just yes or no.
Yeah.
Just yes or no.
That's all we want. Nothing else.
Yes or no. Just yes or no.
Just yes or no. Mr. Carapo, good morning to you. And he says
Hold
yes
on.
to the poll.
222 talk 8255 612 8255 for North Americans, toll free 866 525 1099. Do you think there'll be a greater number of persons voting in today's local government election than in the past? Yes or no?
Simple. On YouTube, you can vote on a message chat. Good morning, Shelly and Charles. On our mobile app and website as well at power102fm.com. Right. Yes. Karen, no. Carol Guevara, yes. Josie Richardson, answer the poll is yes. Bradley Snell out in Amsterdam. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for logging on to Power 102 Digital out in Amsterdam. Leonard Naipaul, good morning to you as well. All right, Wayne B. You can tell me where you're watching us from or messaging us from. Love to know the areas. You know.
The last voter turnout was 34.49%. Was 2019 the last local government election?
Yeah, it would
I
have
think
been.
so. Right. So at that time the voter turnout was just about 34%.
Wow, look at that. Eastland Alexander says yes. Julia S. Batiste says yes. Wayne B. Like Stevie B. says yes. Let's see. CJ out in New York says yes. Trini in Boston says yes. Meb says yes. Thank you so much, guys. Wayne B is in Covington, Georgia. All right, Wayne B, thank you so much. Glad to know we're heading out all over the place. Leonard Naipaul out in North Carolina says yes, 100%. Thank you so much, Leonard. All right, we have 7.5 minutes to vote on our poll. Do you think there will be a greater number of persons voting in today's local government elections than in the past? That's our poll. Thank you so much. Morning, Ray Ray. Morning, Sexy San Fernando. You know, Sexy San Fernando said, I'll bring it up next hour. She made a point on Friday when the International Steel Pan Day. So I'll bring it up next hour.
So our question this morning is, do you think there'll be a greater number of persons voting in today's local government election 2023 than we've seen in the past?
Yeah. Wayne out in Simcoe, Ontario, Canada says yes. All right, let's take this call. Morning.
Good morning, Grandy. Yes.
Thank you, Grandy. Is it raining? Oh, he left. No doubt some pitter patters overnight. Sahara dust is heading our way.
So do you think there will be a greater number of persons voting in today's local government election 2023 than in the past? That's our poll this morning. So do you think that there will be a greater number of people voting today? What do you think? That's our poll this morning. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, toll free 866-525-1099. People on the web and on the app, of course, you can send in your vote. People who are watching on our various streaming platforms, you can also vote by sending us your vote on the respective interactive element on those platforms.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning to you. Good evening.
Hey, LA, you reached the shores of TNT, boy.
Yeah, boy. I land this morning, boy.
You 4:15.
Yeah. Oh, boy, you didn't know all them flights. Yes. Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Morning, sir.
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. How are you going?
I'm pretty good. Back in the homeland, I'll fall a little bit.
You're sleepy now, aren't you?
Yeah, boy. Always good to be home, yeah?
Go and grab a couple doubles and go home and take a dose.
Boy, I don't know. We don't do that. Looking for a place to get some hot clothes. Yes, I was so tired. Boy, oh, God.
They're there, man. Trust me, they're there. They're out.
Yeah. I want to come and take a rest, boy, and then I go from there. Answer to the poll is, well, yes, I can say yes.
All right.
Because, yeah, I'll call back you guys and Steve. So in talking about Steve, when they let it?
He went and voted, and he's doing something with the elections. Don't know what he's doing.
He voted already.
Yeah, he's gonna pick.
Hey, Mr. Rago Bastin, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Morning, Ellie. I'm good.
Yeah. Any place I have to go to, or nothing? Nothing on the.
Actually, no. You have a play. You have a play coming up this Saturday at Cipriani.
Yeah, we should have the final performance of our play this weekend at Cipriani. Yeah.
All right, I'll check it out, man. I don't know. I really don't know what Cipriani is, but I gotta look it up and see.
If I'll see.
All right. Well, Steve, I'll call in. All right.
Yeah, man. Not a problem.
All right. Okay, Paul. Have a good day, man.
Yeah.
I'll call you guys.
Same to you.
Karen is
Edwin Marshall is in Switzerland.
An acceptable combination. Karen, it is. I have doubles and coffee on a Saturday. Slick Money Grip says yes. Edwin Marshall out in Switzerland. Good morning, Edwin, out in Switzerland. I didn't know you were out there. Yes. Thank you so much. Beauty Culture says yes. Thank you so much. How is Switzerland? That's on my bucket list when I do the Amsterdam trip. D, most definitely yes to the poll. Thank you so much, D. All right. You just have 3 minutes to vote in our poll. Do you think there will be a greater number of persons voting in today's local government election than in the past? Do you think more people will go out and vote? Yes or no? Let me know via YouTube or mobile app or our website, and by calling us at 222-8255 in North Americans. Got a toll-free number for you, 866-525-1099. Remember, we are not talking any politics. Miss Ingrid, my answer to the poll is absolutely yes. Thank you, Miss Ingrid. Have a great day out in Tucson, Arizona. More games. Yes to the poll, gentlemen. And good morning to LA. Home sweet home. Yeah. He's looking for some doubles to have with his coffee. Right, Karen? I can't move without coffee. Lorna. Morning, Lorna. Morning, Indy. And a special good morning to Kali. Yes to the poll. Thank you, Lorna.
I went to Gulf City on Saturday. Oh my God, that mall looking good.
Really?
Oh my God.
I haven't been down there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really done that mall justice. Even the car park and everything, they've really upgraded that mall. Fantastic. Really.
Wow. All right, we have a call here. Good morning. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. This is Glenn from Queens.
Hey, Glenn from Queens. What's happening?
Not too bad, not too bad. How are you, man? How is everybody?
Not bad at all. You went on to Times Square for some steel band on Friday?
No, unfortunately not.
Ah.
However, this is the mother of all local elections, and definitely yes, it will have a much more.
Much more people go out and vote.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right, Glenn. Thank you so much for calling us from Queens, New York.
Okay, have a good one.
All the best to you. Thank you. Randy Kelly. Good morning, Randy says yes. All right. Edwin Marshall in Switzerland says beautiful and safe. Almost everyone walking with their head down in their phones. Nobody snatching. Oh, okay. That's out in Switzerland. Everybody is walking their phone in their face. Everybody looking at their phones. Everybody.
Yeah, Dave Williams did a dance, an interpretive dance for that whole screen thing. Oh, that was interesting. In his show, I'm Still Walking in Queens Hall. That was last week or week before. I went to see it on a Friday. I just decided, let me go. I would support Dave because I think he is already excellent and creative choreographer. But he did a dance. One of the dances was about how, as a society, we're just always in our screens.
Yeah. Good morning, caller.
Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. This is Leonard.
Leonard Naipaul from North Carolina. Good morning. How you doing?
Good. I'm sitting outside back in front of Walmart.
Oh, you're in front of Walmart. Okay.
Yeah, in the parking lot. How's it? Is it possible to cancel the show somehow? Right now.
Say that again. Is it possible?
Yeah, cancel the show after come up here.
YouTube.
YouTube.
It's a YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just look
Search
for
Power 102 Digital.
All right. I'm here sitting right there. My dog and I is sitting here. He's back in here when they come out the car.
Oh, your dog and yourself in the car?
Yep, he wants to come out the car
Oh, wow.
and walk.
There was a chap that yesterday, this is in Miami, where he went into Walmart for 10 minutes and he left his dog in the car. And his car was stolen and they let the dog out. And he said he don't care about the car. He's looking for his dog, a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they did catch the guys.
I got an Irish Shepherd and a retriever.
Ah, all right.
Yeah.
So thanks, Leonard, for calling. All the best here. Be safe.
Okay, you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Everybody.
All righty. All the best. All right. Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. AV is in. Starts right now on this the 14th day of August.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
EBC confident everything is in place for persons to vote today. There are 372 candidates contesting today's polls. Gary Griffiths' National Transformation Alliance raises concerns over what they describe as irregularities regarding the handling of ballot boxes, and 9 dead and dozens trapped in India temple collapse. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sandel-Bab. Good morning. The Elections and Boundaries Commission is confident everything is in place for persons to vote today. Chief Election Officer at the Elections and Boundaries Commission, Narcis Scope, reminded the electorate persons who may not have received their poll card or with expired ID cards can still vote once their name is on the revised list of electors. In its preparations for today's elections, the EBC has partnered with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service, and the Disaster Management units of the regional corporations. Narcis Scope said this was the beginning of what she considers to be a working partnership with these agencies going forward. The EBC will be monitoring today's weather conditions and will receive regular updates from the TTMS. With the assistance of the ODPM and the DMUs, sandbags have also been pre-positioned in flood-prone areas in the event of an emergency during today's elections. The Chief Election Officer thanked all the entities, including the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the Electricity Commission, which have worked alongside the department in its preparations for these elections. There are 372 candidates contesting today's polls in 141 electoral districts in 14 electoral areas in Trinidad. The electorate going to the polls today is 1,078,651. The special electorate was 13,284. Special voting ended at 3 p.m. on Sunday at the offices of the returning officers. The electorate is reminded to verify the location of their polling station before leaving home to vote, as changes to polling station venues may have been made for these elections. Persons unsure of the location of their polling station can visit the EBC's website at www.ebctt.com and do a registration lookup, or call the EBC's hotlines at 785-8206 or 785-8211. Since the publication of the number of candidates after the close of nomination day on June 26, 2023, one candidate withdrew his nomination in the electoral district of La Romaine. Gary Griffiths' National Transformation Alliance has raised concerns over what they describe as irregularities regarding the handling of ballot boxes. The party claimed that 2 of its executive members, during a visit to a polling station, witnessed a woman retrieve a sealed ballot box from her vehicle, enter the polling station, and then exit without the ballot box. The woman, who was accompanied by 2 children, initially drove off before halting her car a short distance away as a man emerged from the polling station carrying a ballot box, which she placed into her car. She then departed. The party claims that when they inquired, they were told by the man that not all the ballot boxes were removed and some remained at the polling station. NTA General Secretary Tim Timal is calling on EBC Chief Election Officer Narcis Scope to address the situation and shed light on what he described as these perplexing circumstances. The Council for Responsible Political Behavior is urging winners and losers in today's local government election to be disciplined in their conduct after the results are announced. It is calling for the winners, even as they celebrate, to ensure their celebrations are tempered so as to ensure on Tuesday morning all citizens, winners as well as losers, will hold their heads high in consideration of a well-fought election. The council said all should acknowledge that we will all continue to live in our common space in peace and harmony. The work of the council continues beyond this election as they prepare for a general election due in 2025, it said. Meanwhile, the council said it will embark upon an education drive on the Code of Ethical Political Conduct and the responsibilities of political parties, leaders, and supporters. The council will seek the support of the national community in this drive. It is also thanking the media, which supported the work of the council in disseminating information of the code and the council, as well as its findings as they relate to adherence to the code. It is only with such support, it said, leading to a combined effort that the ethical standards of Trinidad and Tobago's democratic traditions will be enhanced and strengthened. 2 suspects were arrested shortly after allegedly breaking into an Arima house. A male victim reported to police that at around 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, he secured his home and went away. He claims when he returned around 5 p.m. on that same date, he observed a quantity of valuables missing from his home. A report was made to the police and 2 suspects aged 20 and 18, both of Arima, were arrested. A quantity of the stolen items was recovered. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. 9 people have died and dozens more are feared trapped after an ancient Hindu temple collapsed in the northern state of Himachal Pradesh due to heavy rains. Rescue operations are underway after the temple in the popular tourist town of Shimla was hit by a landslide. Himachal Pradesh has received heavy rain over the past few days, triggering floods and landslides. 21 people have died in the past 24 hours in rain-related incidents. Thousands of tourists visit the hill state of Himachal Pradesh, especially its capital Shimla, around the year to enjoy its cool weather and picturesque scenery. Finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, generally hazy and breezy conditions will at times be interrupted by brief, light to moderate showers. There's also a chance that 1 or 2 of these showers will become heavy and or thundery. Hazy and warm night with a gentle breeze. In the event of a heavier shower or isolated thunderstorm, gusty winds and street flooding can occur. Please note that there is a significant concentration of Saharan dust present in the atmosphere, so persons sensitive to these conditions are being advised to take the necessary precautions. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius, both at Piarco International Airport and Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 27 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 28 at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock. The EBC is confident everything is in place for persons to vote today. There are 372 candidates contesting today's polls. Gary Griffiths' National Transformation Alliance raises concerns over what they describe as irregularities regarding the handling of ballot boxes. And 9 dead and dozens trapped in India temple collapse. I'm Avril Sindilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you, Avril, for our major news. Of course, you could join us again. Come at 8 o'clock for our news brief right here on Power 102 Digital. All right. Quickly, let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise on the highways and on the byways on this August 14th, local government election day, starting in the east-west corridor, going to Santa Rosa. You got some volume. Slow going from Trin City towards Macoya. And then after a little traffic, you head towards UWI. But after that, after UWI, smooth sailing straight into Port of Spain. Got nothing really to tell you about. On the eastern main road, it's a little volume by Macoya. Chaguanas main road is lighter than usual. Rivulet Road is beginning to build. It's just volume a little bit. Happening in San Fernando. All right. And that's a quick traffic update for you. Nothing out of the west. Wow. Okay. Look at that. Let's see. Quickly. Let's see if I have any more votes. I know Wendell had organized something from the someone from the EBC. I haven't heard from him yet. So I'm not too sure what's S. Wilson. Morning, H.S. Wilson says yes. Ms. Maloney said yes. Good morning, Rena Boodoo Jennings. Right. Okay. And that's all the votes I got so far, my friends. Not hearing you, Rich.
Lost some of your votes. The last few votes you said, I didn't hear it.
Oh, Ms. Maloney said yes. H.S. Wilson said yes.
Okay. So in all, we had 24 people voting on the poll this morning. So our poll is, as you can see on the screen, do you think that there will be a greater number of persons voting in today's local government elections? We had 24 people voting on the poll this morning. Of the 24, 23 of you said yes. So 23 people said yes. They do think there'll be a greater amount of people voting this morning. One person said no, they don't think so. Of course, we will know all of that in a couple of days when we get the final statistics. We may get that.
Hopefully by tomorrow.
Do we get the actual final vote count by tomorrow?
By this evening, usually by this evening, and then confirmed tomorrow.
Okay.
Most parties either have victory or concession speeches the same night. Well,
you'll get the results. No, I have no doubt you'll get the results, but the actual tallied vote count to a granular level
by tomorrow.
And the
by tomorrow.
I don't think you get that today.
Usually by the day after.
Yeah. So
and worst case scenario, because I'm sure given how contentious this election campaign has been, they're going to have quite a few requests for recounts and stuff like that. So the official final result probably by Wednesday, because the EBC has to entertain if people have requests for recounts and queries about potential irregularity have become the norm in elections in Trinidad and Tobago. And this has been a very, very contentious campaign. So we'll see.
Yeah. I didn't give the results from our poll on Friday. Should the steel ban be taught in all of the nation's schools? 91%. 91 said yes. So there you go. 91% said steel pan should be taught in all schools, nation schools. All right. I'm just trying to get my seat finalized from when they'll hear our guest.
Did you see that? I don't know how old it is. It's a TEDx Port of Spain video with Maria Ducran. Did you ever see that, Paul? Where she talks about the blacklisting of the EU and how they blacklist countries in terms of their financial sector, but really wading into the EU and their regulatory control of those kinds of systems, basically playing God. It's quite an interesting video.
There's another concern from Caribbean countries. I know Dr. Rowley raised it. I know Mia Motley raised it. And a couple other Caribbean countries, Dr. Gonzalez raised it from St. Vincent, about the EU's financial regulatory framework and how they keep shifting the goalpost, much to the disadvantage of smaller economies, particularly Caribbean and developing nations. And they came in for a lot of tongue lashing because of that, because they keep shifting the goalposts seemingly in favor of the larger countries all the time, without consideration for the smaller countries and the types of economies they have, and I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised that she's also waiting.
Yeah, she did it, but she did it like a TEDx thing, but it was very interesting and very to the point and very condemnatory of the EU and how they treat. And ironically, all of the countries that are blacklisted are all former colonies.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that?
Yeah, they've come in for some condemnation, particularly the blacklisting regime, because I remember I was on a committee. And
all are non-white.
Yeah, and the former Attorney General said he had to be flying to Europe all the time to renegotiate based on and they're always changing the parameters always.
Yeah.
So the Caribbean countries are always left to play catch up to be compliant, and it had become so onerous that the countries have now come together to say, well, look, this doesn't make any. I think they actually came together to present a joint petition against the way the EU operated with Caribbean countries in particular. So they were very condemnatory of the EU's position and constantly changing of the goalpost. So,
Yeah. But she does a very succinct and to the point review of it.
I'll try to probably get it done tomorrow,
Yeah.
because I have to download it first and then put it up in the system.
Yeah. Very interesting.
She's based in Barbados now.
All right. In 2 minutes, gentlemen, we're going to have the Chief Election Officer, Fern Nancy Scope, on. All right. So in 2 minutes.
Well, that's good. Once again, local government election day 2023, 372 or 3 candidates, depending on who you. I think one of the newspapers said one candidate had withdrawn in the La Romaine area. So it may be 372. 14 districts, the battlegrounds are San Fernando and Sangre Grande, according to most of the pundits. Those are the ones that are up for grabs, that may change hands. Steve, you enjoying that?
I'm
You're nibbling on your finger there incessantly, so I don't know what that was about. If you see how that looking on the screen.
Go ahead.
Watch you. I thought I just advise you on camera. Your camera on, eh? That's it, but you want to bite up his
Fancy
finger.
camera here too, Fancy camera here too.
Don't you notice how much better you're looking with that camera?
I always look good.
It's astounding that I gave you the camera months ago and now you're now using it. Sometimes you have to drag you all kicking and screaming into the future,
I know. I love it that way. Let me try and figure your food now.
Yeah. So, you can, even if you did not receive your polling card, you can call the EBC's hotline to see if you're a registered elector, because that's how you can vote. Even if you don't have your polling card or your ID is outdated, you can call 785-8206. That's 785-8206 or 785-8211. 785-8211, or you can visit the EBC's website at www.ebctt.com.
All right, so gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Chief Election Officer, Fern Nancy Scope. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, and welcome to the Paul Breakfast Show. I've got Paul Richards and Richard Raghubar Singh with me this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time this morning. Can you give us a sense of how systems are going? Of course, polls opened just about 1 hour and 20 minutes ago. What have your reports been like?
So far, all indications are things are running slowly but smoothly at the polling stations. And of course, we have 2,140 polling stations across Trinidad today open, so persons can cast their vote. All indications are that polling stations opened on time, and people are trickling in as is customary. And
is there? I'm presuming there's a police presence and things are in place. What are the kinds of challenges that are normally faced on days like this, if at all?
There are too many to mention, actually. Preparing for a local government election is perhaps much more challenging, would you believe it, than a parliamentary election. Simply because in a parliamentary scenario, we have 41 constituencies. For the purposes of local government, we're looking at 141. What that means is 141 different ballot papers. It means more returning officers, and the logistics are quite challenging. In fact, it has said that an election is the most logistically challenging event that a country undertakes. So it is difficult, but nevertheless, the Elections and Boundaries Commission, this is our core business. We would have partnered with a number of agencies to make today possible and run smoothly. And one of our major stakeholders, of course, is the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And the law requires that there's a police officer in each polling station. And that is just to ensure law and order in the polling station and, of course, to secure the ballot box. So the CTPS would be providing that law and order for us today and would have assisted the organization throughout the exercise. When we were moving election materials and so on to get them to returning officers, those things would have been secured by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. So it is a working partnership and one that we value. On this occasion, due to the uncertainty of the weather from time to time, we forged a partnership with the Office of Disaster Management as well as disaster preparedness and disaster management coming out of the Ministry of Local Government. And actually, I'm very excited about that partnership, as well as the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Office. Sorry. I'm excited about that because I see that as something that we will continue to do. It's the uncertainty of the weather, and at this time of the year, we wanted to plan for in case we had any issues in relation to the weather, and we did so by pre-positioning sandbags in flood-prone, low-lying areas across Trinidad, where the information is that would normally flood. So we've done that, and of course, we have made all the returning officers have contact information for the disaster management units in the various municipal corporations, and they are all on standby in case there are any issues today. Another partnership that we value, of course, would be that of the Consortium of Disability Organizations. And many people don't know that we spend in our preparations. One of the things we are very concerned about is access to the polling stations for the disabled or differently abled, for the elderly and the infirmed. And you will see across the country, we have tried our best to make sure that our polling stations are accessible. We have ramps that would have been built and placed in those polling stations to ensure accessibility, for persons. That template is prepared for persons who are visually impaired, so that they can cast their franchise independently. So there are a number of organizations, as I said, we have partnered with to make today possible and easy for the elector. And of course, the media is one such organization or one such entity, and all the various ads, both television and print, that we would have put out to educate the public as to process and any other information that we felt the public needed to know. So it's a huge undertaking. But as I said, one that the organization is set up for. This is our mandate, and so today is a culmination of all our processes being played out.
Mrs. Narcisco, when would we get the actual data as to what percentile of the electorate actually voted in the LGA? Do we expect that data tomorrow or a couple of days after?
It is our intention, of course, to be able to put out after election information as quickly as possible. But one of the things I want you to appreciate is that the process, according to the law, is a little different for us than what you would be seeing coming out of political parties' headquarters. So, for example, at the polling station, when the polls are closed and the presiding officer does the count and so on and prepares those statements of the poll, that information has to be transmitted to the office of the returning officer. And by that is done by taking the ballot box and the physical statements of the poll under guard by the police to the office of the returning officer. And the returning officer has the responsibility of calculating each statement of the poll towards the, determining who is the winner. And so you will find that unlike polling agents now who are there serving the interests of political parties or independent candidates, you may find information coming from them a lot quicker than would come from the Elections and Boundaries Commission, because we have a process in law that we must follow towards declaring the winner. So having said that, we expect, or we are hopeful, by the end of business tomorrow evening, we would have a fair idea of what the turnout was, and of course, be able to say to the nation, more than likely, these are the preliminary results. But as you know, on tomorrow by noon, a candidate who was not successful does have the opportunity to ask for a recount, whether limited or general. And of course, that could delay the process for some time. But we will be able to give you at least a preliminary state of play by close of business tomorrow.
Has it been more challenging also? You mentioned it's a little more challenging than general elections because of the number of candidates, because there are also a number of new political entities contesting the same districts.
Yes. One of the things that, surprisingly, that I have discovered in this business of election management is that even the more established parties sometimes do not really appreciate and understand the legislation that governs this process. And so having said that, imagine a new party coming on the scene and contesting the election. So it is a learning curve for political parties in terms of appreciating the legislation and how it is operationalized by the department. Because of course, no piece of legislation can say everything and cover every circumstance. And so there are instances and there are loopholes that the organization over time would have covered a number of administrative forms to support what is in the legislation. And so it is a learning process for political parties, particularly the new ones, to understand what the process is, what is required of them, where their remit starts and stops, particularly in the polling station, what polling agents can and cannot do, that type of thing. So it is challenging. But what I want to say, though, is despite what you might see in the media, as you know, a somewhat adversarial approach to the Elections and Boundaries Commission. The Elections and Boundaries Commission values its relationship with political parties. In a democratic nation, political parties are a core component of democracy. And so we value that partnership, and really we strive to educate and clarify as situations arise what is the process, what the legislation says, and how it is operationalized by the
and what is allowed in terms of political parties and their representatives at the polling station? What's presently allowed by law?
Okay. Well, a candidate can have an election agent and a sub-agent for each polling division. And for this election, we have 1,580 polling divisions. Yes? Now, in an electoral district, that electoral district would be broken down into polling divisions. And so a candidate contesting an electoral district can have a sub-agent responsible for each division, and thereafter a polling agent in each polling station. And you will find that candidates or agents would be moving around today in their electoral district, visiting their sub-agents or polling agents, getting certain information from them, but they cannot stay in the polling station for more than just about 5 minutes or so, because of course we don't want them to disrupt the proceedings at the polling station. All those names, the persons serving in those capacities up to that of sub-agent, would have been placed in the newspapers yesterday, as is the requirement by law. And of course the polling agents are there with materials provided by either a political party or an independent candidate monitoring today's proceedings. They would know the identity of persons coming in to exercise their franchise, because all of that is called out in the polling station. They too would be taking a tally of the number of voters who have come in, and of course participating in the count, doing their own tallies, on behalf of their party or independent candidate, and would be at the close, when everything is over, leaving with signed statements of the poll as to what is the final count in relation to a particular polling station.
Have there been significant changes in polling districts for this election? And if so, can you identify the main ones?
Well, for the purposes of this election, 2 new districts were created. You might recall that in 2019, we had 139 electoral districts. For the purposes of this election, 2 more were created. Those 2 districts are Couva West, Roystonia, and Mayaro North. And so to create those 2 districts, 22 electoral districts were affected by boundary alterations. And there were 117 electoral districts where there were no boundary changes. So that is it in a nutshell.
In terms of campaign law, and this is something I'm wondering if the EBC has considered. In the past, we had print and electronic only, not necessarily digital. So the law states one can't campaign past midnight on Sunday. In the present environment, however, we have digital media, digital platforms where persons who may not know the law or who may know the law and choose to flout the law sometimes continue advocating for particular candidates and or parties. Has the EBC considered this new environment and how it intends to monitor those scenarios?
Well, those campaigning or canvassing on election day, as you know, are election offenses. Yes, and that is something that would have to be prosecuted and reported to the police and prosecuted by either the TTPS or the Director of Public Prosecutions. But having said that, you're quite right in that the election offenses as they are listed in the legislation now don't take into consideration digital media. Of course, we do have here at EBC a number of proposed amendments to the legislation that we hope the Parliament will consider in due course. Certainly, it is my personal hope that those amendments could come into force certainly before the 2025 general election. But what I would say to a political party is that the spirit of the law is that there should be no canvassing of any kind today. And while it may be silent as to social media, I would not encourage any political party to engage in such activity, because then while you may not be breaking the letter of the law, you are certainly moving against the spirit of the legislation. And so today is a day when there should be no canvassing of any or campaigning of any kind, and I would encourage political parties to adhere to that spirit of the legislation.
You know, as you mentioned, amendments and possible amendments that the EBC may suggest to the national government. Has any consideration been given to the diaspora across the planet and them being able to vote via mail-in ballots or at respective embassies across the planet and or digitally, and the issue of digital voting in itself, which I know is part of the landscape of Estonia, where you can vote from your phone. And I know Estonia is a partner with the national government in terms of the digitization process. So it's a two-pronged question as to the possibility of the diaspora voting, because we have a lot of diaspora listening to this interview. And I know a lot of Trinidadians and Tobagonians across the planet in North America and Europe especially are interested in voting.
So the short answer to your question, and all the examples you've raised there is yes. I want to take us back to 2020 when we did that parliamentary election in a COVID environment. And the whole question of whether the diaspora or certainly persons who were trapped outside the country at that time, though resident here in Trinidad, whether, how they could have exercised their franchise, if at all, came to the fore and was really there was quite a discussion on it. I want to say that the Department of the Elections and Boundaries Commission and the commissioners themselves many of us have traveled to several Commonwealth countries and have seen, some of the different processes and how these things are approached in various other sovereign nations. So those things are being considered. Of course, you would appreciate that, and you would appreciate, Mr. Richards, how slowly change comes from a legislative standpoint. But we are hopeful that these changes, there are some changes that we feel are paramount moving into 2025, but there are others that we feel that it would take the nation some time to properly understand and appreciate and change. You'd have to change culture. And certainly digital voting is one such thing. There is a lot of suspicion around the election process, a lot of conspiracy theories that one would hear. I expect to hear quite a few later today that I myself might have to have cause to debunk and answer. So imagine moving from that in this environment to digital without properly educating the public. So it would take us, if we do decide to go that way, if the powers that be or the government of the day decides to support such an initiative, it will require a lot of education before we can get that off the ground and I can be comfortable as a nation, particularly where electronic voting is concerned. But there, as you have indicated, there are ways for the diaspora or persons who are abroad on this day to be able to exercise their franchise, and those things are all on the table in terms of being considered by the Commission at this time.
In terms of electors today, now the EBC has sent out several releases just for public information and clarity. An elector who may not have received his or her polling card and may not have an ID can also go to the EBC's website or call the EBC's hotlines, and you've provided those. Those are 785-8206 or 785-8211. The EBC's website is www.ebctt.com. Free plug for the EBC there. And what is the protocol if you don't have your polling card and or your ID or your ID is outdated?
Well, an outdated ID card in this process is the same as having no card. So persons who don't have an ID card would join the red line, and the red line poll clerk will take you through an oath and allow you to get your once your name is on the list and your registration record card is in the binder, of course, because that is so. While you may not have a card, your name must be on the list of electors, and your registration record card must be in the binder in that polling station. So without the absence of a card, there's a picture of you on your registration record that we can verify that is in fact the individual. So the law allows for situations like that, and of course, if you go without a poll card, one will be made out for you in the polling station. So the absence of a poll card does not, as you've indicated, prevent you from voting. But of course, once one has a valid identification card, one would be entering the green line. So the green line tends to be faster for persons, because the red line would also have persons who may be infirmed, in a wheelchair, disabled in some way, etc. So that line tends to be longer.
And with persons who may need assistance, in some cases the elderly, is there a mechanism whereby they can identify someone who is helping them through this process? Who, yes, for example, an elector who may be blind, and designate someone to identify in that booth the person they want to vote for, so that it's above board?
Well, actually, I'm glad you used that example. A blind elector, we do have a template in the polling station, in each polling station, that will allow, after the use of the template is explained to the elector, that elector can exercise their franchise independently. But having said that, the law allows for persons persons who are disabled or infirm, elderly, etc., who would need assistance to have what in law is described as a companion who would assist them with the voting process. So you can come with an individual who is deemed your companion, and that person can assist you with exercising your franchise. And again, the companion too has an oath that he or she has to take and so on, and be allowed to assist the individual. So the legislation also contemplates that scenario.
What forms of ID are accepted? Driver's permit, national ID card, and passport?
Only your national ID card. So while people may walk with a passport or a driver's permit, we are only interested today in your national ID card. So anybody who does not have that would really be going into the red line.
Is there a particular reason for that?
Well, this system is based on the national ID card. This system is not based on anything else. And so we have in the polling station your registration record details. And I can speak to the authenticity and the operations that would have led to an individual being registered and being duly registered. I can't speak to that, whatever has happened at the licensing department or even at the passport office. And suffice it to say, the only way you can get those two other identity documents is by providing an ID card. So the ID card is the basis for which you get the other two. So it is the strength of our processes that why we rely on solely the national ID card.
What mechanisms are in place if persons have queries, electors have queries at the polling station? Is there a particular area they go to and ask the question?
Well, at the polling stations, particularly polling stations that have two or more polling station locations, that have two or more polling stations, we have information officers that will have a list of electors for the entire district, so that you may be at the wrong location and you can therefore, by virtue of the information officer, find out where you are supposed to be. If one is not seeing one's name on the list, one is encouraged to either call using those hotline numbers that you've just called out, or you can visit the registration area office in the registration area where you are registered and get further and better details there. You can look up on the website, as you've also indicated. And of course, today, 14th August, the staff of the Elections and Boundaries Commission is at the disposal of the nation. So you can call here and get any information that you require, or certainly an explanation as to what your individual situation could be. But suffice it to say, you would recall that during our electoral registration period, we would have stressed that electors are to check their registration status. So at that time, one has an opportunity to remedy one situation if a remedy is necessary, or to come onto the list, do transfers from one district to the next, that type of thing. And so that was a 9-day period that has gone, and that's essentially the situation today. Today, one has to make contact with the Elections and Boundaries Commission in whatever form, via telephone, via the internet, or visits in person to get further and better details if that is required.
I have two questions before we end. One is, and I know this may sound like minutiae we're dealing with, but the election time is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yes.
Who will be accommodated at 5:59? Is it someone on the compound of the polling station? Is it someone in a line? How does that work?
So someone in the precincts of the polling station in the line. So the police officer at 6 o'clock will stand behind the last person in the line. And that is an indication as who would have come in at, as you say, 5:59. Who is the last person in line at that time? The police officer will assist us by identifying that person, and so no persons who come in after that would be allowed to exercise the franchise.
So someone who is in the line at 6 p.m., 5:59, 59.
Within the precincts of the polling station, yes.
All right. And one of the more important issues to me is dissemination of accurate information, because we're in the age of disinformation and misinformation in terms of the results at particular polling districts and the results as the evening progresses, because I know media houses will be covering this. What is the EBC's perspective on the official channels of information, final counts, etc., from today, from 6 p.m. today into the next couple of days?
Well, the final or information that you can be certain about would be any information coming out of the Elections and Boundaries Commission. I would encourage media houses, though I know they will visit the party headquarters or independent arrangements for independent candidates to get information there. But I would say that the information that the EBC provides is accurate information in relation to the today's proceedings.
So only EBC website, EBC hotlines, and
yes,
EBC press releases.
Yes. And of course, our communications manager would be available. I myself am available throughout the day and will be available tonight to provide any clarity as issues arise and to advise the nation as to what is the state of the results. So, but as I said, we will provide the nation with the official results. Preliminary in the first instance, because as you appreciate, there could be recounts and so on, until we get to that official stage where all of that is over. We will provide that information, and we endeavor to do so as quickly as possible, as the law allows.
I know one of the political parties, as indicated in the media today, made a complaint concerning the handling of certain ballot boxes. Is that being investigated?
Yes, that has been investigated. I'm glad you raised it, actually. I would want to take the opportunity to clear that up. What happened in that instance was that the returning officer would have been doing his checks. So, of course, it's checks and rechecks that you would do in preparing for today. And in doing his check, he recognized that he had given to a presiding officer the wrong reference list for her polling station. And so therefore he called the individual back, asked her to bring the box back to him, and he went back into that box and he would have taken out the reference list that he had previously given to her and given her the correct list, resealed the box and gave it back to her. And so that is all part of making sure that presiding officers and poll day staff have the correct list in the polling station. That is paramount. So he, having recognized that an error was made, he sought to rectify that before poll day. Because then perhaps persons could have been coming to the station and not seeing their names and so on. And that of course, we would not have wanted. So happily, he discovered that in advance and rectified the situation. Of course, a political party, I think, was present or in the vicinity and they saw what they saw, not understanding how it came about, or not having the information as to how it came about. So rightfully, they raised an alarm and expressed their concerns. But as I've indicated, it really was as simple as that, ensuring that that particular presiding officer had the correct list in the station today.
Had that been communicated to the political party, and has there been a response from them since then?
No, that has not yet been communicated. I myself, of course, it's as I said, 2,140 polling stations. So many of us yesterday were quite involved in dealing with a number of matters to ensure that today ran smoothly. But that correspondence to that regard will be sent, I think, within the next half an hour or so.
Excellent. Mrs. Fern Narcissus Scopes, thank you so much for your time this morning, and we'll certainly be checking back with you later on this evening or as the day progresses.
I am at your disposal today, and thank you for having me this morning.
Well, I hope tomorrow morning too.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
That was
Chief Election Officer Fern Narcissus Scopes speak with us this morning.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. That was a good question regarding the timing because we've seen that. I have seen that. I've been late. Where I was inside a line and someone came right at the close of the polling station at 6 and was not let in. And it was explained to me afterwards by the police officer that yes, they have to be in the line before the gate closes. So watch your time, manage your time, folks.
Well, weather and thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have 7 minutes before 8 o'clock. We can take a couple of calls. Don't forget, no canvassing, no campaigning, no I'm voting for X, Y, and Z, no please vote for X, Y, and Z. None of that.
You mean I can't say vote for theater?
Oh, I would avoid it if I were you. Someone may construe it as a theater party, so.
Really? Which one? Which party is the theater party specifically in your mind, Paul?
I said someone may. I didn't say I would.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Got your time, they get antsy.
All right. Let's say good morning.
I suppose we can open up the lines and take some calls.
Yeah. Nadia Sanawa, good morning. Thank you. I haven't seen any pictures in a long time. Great photographer. Yeah. Cheryl Henry, good morning. Anthony Tinto, Beauty Culture. Good morning to you. All right. So let's grab a couple of these calls here. Oops, good morning.
Caution voters. Caution callers. That you can't, canvass or anything like that.
Yeah. Morning.
Keep it circumspect.
Again.
Sorry, this is who again?
Leonard.
Yes, Leonard. Morning.
I was referring to the play that was on this what called again? Why you look at me so for? That. How can I see that show?
Yeah.
Well, you have to be in Trinidad 1.
Oh boy. What is some of the
yeah, that's the first thing.
No, being recorded for playback?
Yeah,
no.
I know it's a logistical issue. How we do that?
Leonard, we're trying to get him to do a show in the US.
Right, that would be good.
My internet keeps rebooting.
Yeah, it's you guys, I believe. It sounds all right now.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be good.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, but you have to be in Trinidad.
It is something we are investigating, so I'll keep you informed. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, book a flight.
Yeah. What about the lady that dropped the box off? The voting box.
Say that again, Leonard.
Remember the lady who dropped the voting box out and the guy picked it up? Are they looking at that?
I think she did answer that.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a correction on a box, put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something.
Thanks, Leonard.
All right, then.
All the best to you.
You're welcome.
All righty.
You too.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Yeah,
morning.
Not distant future. Right. Now, when Paul asked, first of all, the lady said the policeman will stand at the end of the line, so that's only people in the line now would vote beyond that point. After that's the cutoff time there. And then Paul asked, the end of the line, and she said yes, in the precincts of the polling station. Now, that's two different things you're talking about. The precincts of the polling station is not the end of the line. It's within the compound of if there's a fence or there's, the property itself, or whatever is considered the precinct. So, as I know it, it's the precincts of the polling station. But who am I? You have the lady here. So, we probably need to clear that up, because if somebody squeezes through the gate and they're in the precincts of the polling station, but they are not in the line because the line is over on the other side of the building, So maybe that could be cleared up today. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Pinal, thank you.
I think usually they stand at the gate to the entrance to the polling station.
As far as I know, they do.
Having voted at 5 to 6 p.m. or just maybe even 5:53 p.m. one time when I just last minute decided to let me go and vote.
Mhm.
When I went, it was the policeman was at the gate. And the gate, he hadn't locked it as yet because he was waiting till 6, and I was entering, a minute or two before 6 o'clock. So they allowed you in, and they said you could go ahead. And so I think they generally at the gate at that point, as it approaches 6 o'clock, they go to the gate of the precinct and get ready to shut it in terms of whoever is coming late to vote.
All right.
Well, I'm sure they shut the gate. They shut the gate at 6 o'clock, but she said the police officer at 6 will stand behind the person in the line. So I guess if someone had been wandering around internally and looking for their particular, if there's more than one district in that particular precinct, I mean, it's common sense, but then common sense gets so legal in this country.
Yeah, boy. All right, we have a call, gentlemen. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I know the two established parties' symbols are very popular, but is it possible you all could say what are the symbols of the other party, or is that against the law?
Not today.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Not today. I'm sure you can go online and find it.
Yeah, Google it. Thanks, Sonny. All right. All right, gentlemen. I know you guys are gonna wrap it up now.
Nice try.
Nice try. I'll probably do the same, as we're not talking elections. But yeah, we'll wrap it up for this morning.
Have a great, wonderful day. Be safe.
Yep. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And of course, theater is what you're looking at me so for. I want to thank all the people who came out in San Fernando last night. We had a bumper audience, and they had, I think, a fantastic time. And so
is Saturday and Sunday coming back to Cipriani?
No, just one night. It'll be Saturday night, I think.
Saturday night only at LA. You hear that? Saturday only.
At Cipriani College, which will be our final show for What You're Looking at Me So For. Anyway, have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. The beginning of the work week, and I know a lot of people will be glued later on, post 6 p.m. to see the results come in and see who will be victorious at the poll tonight in terms of controlling regional and borough and city corporations across TNT.
Yeah.
Have a good one.